Hey guys, it's Ashley. So today I'm filming my FIT Semester 1 experience as a transfer student. So first of all, I want to say sorry for the lighting. The light was good like an hour ago. It's set a little sooner than I actually thought it was going to. Also, I'm looking at my phone for notes, so if you see me looking down, that's why. I feel like this video is going to be really long, so I'm going to try to be quick. At the same time, cover some topics that a lot of people don't cover in their videos. Basically, a little bit about me is I went to the University of New Hampshire, which is like a basic state school. It's like, I don't know, your average party school. In high school, I had a 3.0 GPA and I only took one honors class, and I never took pre-college courses at FIT because I didn't know I wanted to go here. At UNH, I had a really good GPA, like a 3.8, 3.9 my freshman year, first semester. And after that, my GPA went down a little bit because I didn't really like going to school there. So by the time I left UNH after a year and a half, I had a 3.3 GPA. So the fall of my second year, I halfway through decided I wanted to apply to FIT. So I applied with a 3.3 GPA. Actually, I turned in the application late because I decided literally so last minute that I wanted to go to that school. After I applied in the fall for the spring of 2015, I got waitlisted and I ended up not getting in off the waitlist. So I decided to go to a school closer to home so I wouldn't have to pay for housing at UNH. I just took some basic classes. I ended up getting into FIT for the fall of 2015. At UNH and the second school that I went to, I was a business major, which I thought would be awesome because I applied as an FBM major, which is a business major. FBM means fashion business management, so I thought that would be awesome and make it a lot an easier transition in. But in the end, that actually kind of hurt me being a business major because FIT wants you to take only business classes with them. So all my liberal arts transferred over, but the rest of my classes, like all my business classes that I had been taking, didn't transfer. So basically when I got in, I thought I was going to be going straight into my bachelor's degree, but it turns out I had to go into the 1-year associate's degree program, which basically means in my third year of college, I was a sophomore. I take all the business classes that I was supposed to take throughout 2 years of an associate's degree in 1 year. By the end of this year, I'll be graduated with my associate's degree. I already applied and got into the FBM program for the fall of 2016. Basically, it's a 2+2 school and you have to apply to get back in, which it's really easy. Once you're already in, they basically guarantee as long as your grades are decent that you'll get back in. A lot of people talk about the application, so I'll just go over it really quick. There's 2 applications. It's the SUNY application, which is the New York State application. It's just, I don't know, probably like all the other colleges you're applying to. It's really easy. Just information about yourself, and then FIT has you do something similar. It's really easy. You just attach a 1-page paper at the end explaining why you want to go to FIT. A lot of people say to get into FIT you need like 4.0 GPA, you need to take all these honors and AP classes, and that you need to like take pre-college classes, do all this stuff to get in, when I didn't even know that I wanted to go into fashion until literally like a couple months before I even like applied. So I'm just here to say that's not true. I had a 3.0 and then a 3.3 in one honors class. The only thing I really talked about in my essay was basically how I didn't know that I wanted to go into fashion. Now I do know I want to go into fashion. I'm really confident that I can do it. And I talked about my experience as the PR and marketing chair and the t-shirt chair of my sorority. I think that helped me a lot, but that's basically the only thing that I had related to fashion to talk about in my essay. So I think a lot of people try to say like you need all this stuff to get in, and you totally don't need like all these pre-college classes. Honestly, I feel like people say that to make themselves like feel better about doing all this stuff and to like intimidate other people away from going to FIT, making them think like you don't have a 4.0, like don't even bother applying. I just think that that's not true, and you can get in without any experience or that kind of grades. And once you go to FIT, you have to make a college class. list. I took 6 classes, which is a lot different than the 4 classes that I took at the other schools I went to. And another thing that's a lot different is that all your classes are once a week for 3 hours, which really made me nervous, and I'm here to say firsthand that it's not that bad. Like, I have really bad ADD. Like, I couldn't even, if I had like an hour and 20-minute class at UNH, I would like literally be so bored I'd be pulling my hair out, and I was like, how am I supposed to have all that time and sit through 3 hours at once? I can't do it. But trust me, you get used to it. I suggest when you're choosing your classes as a freshman, you get to choose your classes after all the teachers have been announced. Try to look up the teachers, and basically I just chose my schedule based off of the teachers that had the best reviews. So just look all the classes you need to take, all the teachers that teach that class, and then try to figure out a way to get the best teachers as possible, because honestly, like, you could be taking the most interesting class, but even if you think it's like the most interesting thing in the world, a teacher can like suck the fun out of it. You have like a good teacher, you'll find a way to enjoy all your classes, and it's going to be a lot easier to study for. As I said earlier, like, I took a lot of the same classes over again. Fashion business practices was basically like an intro to business class. Advertising and marketing communications was basically like an intro to marketing class, which I had already taken. Intro to fashion marketing, I literally didn't learn anything about fashion. That class was just a marketing class. Basically took that. Like, a lot of the classes, if you're in the 1-year program, honestly probably going to be repeats, but I don't know, I made it for an easy transition, but it does stink because I just wasted a ton of money, and that's something that like I really wish I had known, and I think a lot of other people wish they had known. I live in the dorms, I live in alumni like a lot of other people do that make videos. I'm a junior, and I had already lived off campus. Like, I was so over dorming after my freshman year. I lived in my sorority house. So I went from living off campus with not that many rules to like going back and having rules stricter than I had when I was a freshman. So that kind of stinks, but I definitely suggest dorming just because the community isn't that strong at FIT, so I can't imagine I would have really made very many friends if I didn't live on campus. It does kind of stink. There are a lot of rules. With visitors, you're only allowed to have 2 visitors overnight in a room at a time. So like, there's 4 of us total. There's 2 in one room, 2 in the other, so me and my direct roommate are only allowed to have 1 overnight guest. I can't have 2 friends visit unless one of my other 2 roommates in the other room will sign them in and then be there like every time you're gonna go out. Like, I had to have my roommate sign in my friends at like 2 a.m. It really stinks, to be honest. Like, like, the rules are pretty bad, but I think it's worth it to make some new friends. Basically, the dorms that you can live in are alumni, which is apartment styles. It's 2 dorm rooms basically attached by a kitchen and a bathroom, which makes it so much easier. Like, I could not live in a traditional style room, but being able to make my own food and not having to share a bathroom is like the best thing ever. That does make it better. So the other option is co-ed, which is a lot of traditional style rooms along with some apartments. I've never been in the apartments, but I heard that they're awesome and that they're even like nicer than the alumni apartments. So if you don't get into alumni and you get into those apartments, that's still a great option. The last dorm room that you can live in on campus, like directly across from all the school buildings, it's called Nagler, and it's strictly traditional. A lot of people don't want it. If it's your first year at FIT, you get to live on one of these 3 apartments. If you want to live in an FIT building after your first year, you have to live in Kaufman, which I've heard is really hard to get into. I don't know yet. That's like 5 blocks away. It's still really close. It has a gym in it, and I've been in it before. It's really nice. Basically, the campus is set up so the whole like street is blocked off by some gates and security guards. So it's like, you kind of have a campus. You can just like walk across the road. It's really nice. I like it. Around the campus is like basically just in the heart of Manhattan, which is awesome. As someone that's new to New York City, a lot of people wouldn't like living where we live just because it's like a very touristy area, but as like someone that's new to New York, I'm really glad that I get to experience like all this touristy stuff and get it out of my system before I get sick of it. I get to enjoy all the touristy stuff while it's acceptable to enjoy it. Times Square is like 15 minutes north of us, which like for someone that never walked anywhere, only drove, like I don't know, I kind of felt like when people talked about how far away things were, I was like, that's not that close, but you get used to walking and 15 minutes is really close. 2 or 3 minutes north of us is Madison Square Garden, where there's like concerts and sports events, which a lot of fashion students don't care about, but I don't know, I like sports, that's pretty cool. We're also really close to Herald Square, where a lot of shopping is. Fifth Ave is really close to us, and then Madison Square Park and Bryant Park, all really close to us. So literally I'm like at one of those places like every couple days. Even though a lot of FIT students like to pretend like, well, I don't know, maybe they're not pretending, but even after living there for a couple months, I still really enjoy going to those places. So basically around us, there's a gym on campus, but there's also a gym right across the street. Planet Fitness, I go there. So if you're not into like the gym on campus, there's another option. It's literally right across the street. For grocery shopping, a lot of people go to Trader Joe's. That's where I go because it's the cheapest. It's like 15 minutes away. I just bought like a little cart and I put all my groceries in the cart. And it's like a $5 taxi drive. So if you go with your friends, just put all the groceries in the trunk and get the ride back, and you all split it, and it ends up just being like a couple extra dollars. Places to eat, there's like Dollar Pizza across the street. There's a Panera right next to us. Brooklyn Bagels, which is so good, like my guilty pleasure. There's a Chipotle across the street. Five Guys. But there's just like a ton of food around us. To talk a little bit about the social life at UNH, or at FIT. I keep touching my hair, I just got it dyed, so I'm so not used to it, and it's just weird seeing it. But basically, I really suggest, like, in order to make friends at the school, to live on campus the first year, because a lot of people that don't live on campus basically just don't care to make friends, because like a lot of people are a lot older or whatever, they already live in the city, so they don't really feel the need. So if you're like new to the city, I would definitely suggest living on campus. A lot of people say like it's harder to make friends, like people aren't here to make friends, which is very true, but I think also sounds very harsh. People would say that and they'd freak out that I wasn't gonna make friends because I'm not the most outgoing person in the world. But I think that that is true, but there's also a lot of people like me that do want to make friends. More about the social life. There's not parties at FIT. It's a dry campus, and like, yeah, it's just not a party school, so that's never gonna happen. But if you want to like go out and drink and party and stuff, there's definitely options. I don't really like to go out at school. I like to like concentrate on my schoolwork, but I have gone out a couple times. Basically, if you're not 21, you find a promoter that brings you to all these like cool clubs around. To find a promoter, basically, I don't know if this is the right way. I don't know if I'm giving you the best advice, but this is how I go out. I basically just followed like FIT on Instagram and like other New York related things. I started tagging pictures in New York related locations. I started getting these followers from random people. Turns out they're promoters, so that you just follow them back and they'll start messaging you like their numbers and stuff. They can get you into these clubs if you're not 21, which probably isn't a good thing to be saying on the internet, but it's true. Like I said, I don't really do it. I've only done it a couple times. So I suggest like getting more than one promoter. I don't know if that's wrong or like not the smart thing to do, but they normally are like assigned a specific club a certain night. If they're at, say, like Gilded Lily one night and you don't want to go to Gilded Lily, like you don't really have a choice. If you have multiple promoters, then you'll normally have more of an option of what to do. The last things I want to say are words of advice for people applying to FIT. The first thing is don't be concerned if you don't know exactly what you want to do, or for sure if the fashion industry is for you, which like you probably do, you're going to FIT, so if you decide not to go into the fashion industry, you have a degree from like a fashion school, it's probably going to be harder to find a job outside of fashion. A lot of people, like when you're at school, think that everyone's supposed to already know everything about fashion, but like that's not true. You're here to learn. Like I didn't know anything about fashion. I think that that's like okay. Like, I've literally never even seen The Devil's Wears Prada. You don't need to like live and breathe fashion completely to be successful at FIT, which is something that really scared me and almost like made me not want to go to FIT, because everyone said that you need to know that you want to go into this industry, you need to know what you want to do. You're allowed to be unsure, like you're learning. You're allowed to learn when you get here. A lot of people also said if you want like the regular college experience, this school is not for you. As much as that's true, I feel like that also sounds really harsh in that you're allowed to like going to parties and college sports, all that like classic college stuff. I did that and I liked it and wasn't obsessed with it. Went to a school like that and wanted to transfer out of it. Like I still really enjoyed it. I love visiting my friends' colleges. Sometimes I do miss it, but that doesn't mean FIT isn't the school for me. You don't need to be obsessed with fashion, hate the idea of regular college in order to like it here. The last thing that I want to say is don't be intimidated. A lot of people told me when I was moving to New York, like, I hope you'll be okay. Basically, I hope the city doesn't chew you up and spit you out. And I'd be like, oh my god, like, what do they know that I don't know? What am I not ready for? Maybe I'm not ready. What are they talking about? Maybe I still don't know what they're talking about. But went from living in like going to school in like the most random place ever that had literally nothing to do besides like drink and go to parties to New York City, and didn't have any problem adjusting. I had never lived in a city before. Where I live at home, it's definitely not like I live in the middle of nowhere. Half an hour away from Boston, but I never lived in Boston. I've never lived in a city, and I felt like people were expecting me to do bad, something bad to happen. I don't know what they meant, but people would say that stuff to me all the time, and I want to say that you'll be okay moving to New York. I'm a city person. I've always known I've loved the city. How do you really know until you've lived in it? I would always think, like, what if I'm not ready? But I came and it was fine. The word city is just such like an intimidating word, and it's a word that people are so scared of. If you think that you're a city person, you probably are, and you'll be able to handle it. Oh, one other thing I want to say is that don't be scared as a transfer. You're gonna be like in this scary situation alone. I came in and went to orientation thinking I was gonna be meeting like a bunch of people that were going to college the first time, which, as much as you're only 2 years younger and I think that age is kind of just a number, there's definitely a difference in maturity levels and like experience between like a junior in college and a freshman that is just moving to school for the first time. So I was kind of nervous that I wasn't gonna have a lot in common with them, and it was going to be hard to make friends. But there are seriously so many transfers. Like, FIT is not a school where everyone starts out as a freshman and continues through the 4 years. Everyone has a different path. Like, I feel like I literally know more people that are transfers than are people that started out as a freshman. All my friends are transfers and in the same boat as me. So when I went to orientation, basically we had a whole gym filled of people that were transfers. There was hundreds and hundreds of us that were transferring like in the middle of college. So don't be scared that you're not gonna meet anyone, because you definitely will. And so many people take like the weirdest paths to get to FIT. So basically that's my video on my experience going to FIT as a transfer student. If you have any more questions about me as a transfer student or FIT in general, just leave the comments down below. I'll film another video soon doing a room tour of my dorm in Alumni Hall, and I'll even film a Q&A with the questions that are left down below if I get enough. So definitely comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. All my social media links will be listed down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!